Greetings, ladies and gentlemen, it is I am the one and only Tiana here once again, and I am back for the likes of the Mexi Toys videos once again. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back for some more of Let's Play of Kirby's Return to Dreamland Deluxe for the Nintendo Switch. Basically, a remake of the original Kirby's Return to Dreamland back on the Nintendo Wii. So, last time we've completed World 4, which appears to be White Wolf Forest, I think is what it says anyway. So today for this video is about the fact that we are moving on to the next world in this game, which appears to be Nutty Noon. So get it, we've come across into certain letters representing Crown. Because obviously about the fact that for those of you who already played the original version of the game before, or if you not, then spoiler alert, that might actually hint us something until when it gets to the point until later on in the game. So either way, onwards to Nutty Noon as we go. So either way, potentially speaking though is about the fact that with Nutty Noon in mind, this is by far the longest world in the game, mainly because about the fact that, well, as far as I'm aware, they only contain like 6 levels, just like the forms of how it does on the previous world. Although, except the fact the matter is, though, it's going to take place in the skies above. And on top of all that stuff, though, we need to collect the insane amounts of those energy spheres alike. Especially, as you can tell from this stage in particular, we need to collect about 4 of those energy spheres, and eventually, though, we'll collect 5 of them. So, either way, so, yeah, that's all I can say about this for the most part. So, yeah, today's date, of course, is the 12th of April today, in this case in 2023 today. Naturally speaking, though, about the fact the matter is, though, is that you probably already noticed right from the get-go, though, that recently me and Jewel, and as well as the My Little Pony characters, like all 8 of them specifically, and on top of that, I also forgot to mention about the fact that even the Powerpuff Girls joins in as well, Blossom, Bubbles, and Buttercup. We've managed able to enjoy the Super Mario Bros. Movie again, although I think I'm also able to say this right now, I think I might as well take a break on the forms of watching the Super Mario Bros. Movie for a little while, until when the DVD and Blu-ray versions is about to be releasing, and during at some point in summer. So either way though, well, I can still able to actually just go back into that film time and time again. Well, especially noticeable when the film actually comes out. So either way though, that might actually be a little bit more pleasant and surprised. So, and speaking of a lot more interesting is about the fact that I've no idea why I say things weirdly enough at this point today, because I know for a fact it's been 2 days ago since we've actually last played this, because recently, Maxi, he's now working on the Game Boy Advance version of Piglet's Big Game, because someone said in the comments down below suggested for that particular Let's Play, which sure enough though, since we're still on spring after all, because originally we were expecting to be able to do Klonoa Fantasy Revive series, but it turns out it's been delayed until God knows when, because I can't exactly tell you what the release date of that Let's Play is going to be at. Although, we originally trying to able to do Klonoa Heroes, which is the only RPG game for Klonoa title, but unfortunately though, I haven't seemed to have some bit of struggles able to get the English fan translation of the game, because I couldn't understand Japanese as much. But either way though, that might be saying something, so yeah, in terms of some things that's interesting is about to happen, is that, well, first of all, you probably already noticed about the fact that recently, Pokemon Stadium 1 on the Nintendo 64 has recently came out today on the likes of the Nintendo Switch Online Expansion Pack. So, yeah, as a result, we've only got 4 more games to go until God knows if Nintendo decides able to add another selections of titles, but I'm still hoping that Super Smash Bros. For the Nintendo 64 will be on there, and on top of that with Donkey Kong 64, Diddy Kong Racing, and also Banjo-Tooie, and you probably name the rest of it though, because I'm pretty sure we've pretty much almost gotten every single Mario games be released on the Nintendo 64 at this point. So, although we still got Mario Party 3 on its way, so I don't know when exactly is it going to be at, so it kind of reminds me of a similar vibe as in one of those DLC waves for Mario Kart 8 Deluxe situation, at least to me anyway. So either way, yeah, let's just go ahead and use this awesome tornado, because obviously I love using that particular copy ability, which, again, it's a bit of a shame that this particular ability never brought back during the forms within Kirby Triple Deluxe, alongside with Planet Robobot on the 3DS, but at the same time though, about the fact that I can pretty much get used to it. So either way though, And some things worth noting for, again, I just want to classify for a massive recap to this, especially if you guys are very excited able to finally get a chance to play, you know what I mean, with the forms of Pokemon Stadium 1 on the Nintendo Switch Online Expansion Pack. Keep that in mind though, you're pretty much gonna have to stuck with the forms of the rental Pokemon if you really want able to, like, play with your friends and all that stuff though. So, and I suppose I should probably also mention is that I'm pretty sure you're only able to actually access to all 149 Pokemon with the exception of maybe Mewtwo and Mew. Well, at least I'm assuming so anyway, because I know for a fact I haven't exactly owned a game for myself on the original cartridge version, but I do know for one thing in mind about the fact that at least you can able to actually experience, you know, the battling and stuff like that, and at the same time, you can still able to actually access to Kids Club, which is essentially the mini mode, like, equivalent to Mario Party or something like that, with all these mini games and all that stuff though. Mind you, I think there's only like 9 of them in total, so either way though, that'll keep you guys invested for it, especially if you play the game in online play. That makes it pretty interesting with 4 players and all that stuff. So either way though, and on top of all that stuff though, for what I've heard about the fact that a lot of people are not overly keen on rental Pokemon as much, because I can assure you, because much like the forms of, let's say, Pokemon Stadium 2 and Pokemon Battle Revolution, which is basically, it's like a combination of, let's just say the duology games on the GameCube, which are Pokemon Colosseum, alongside with, Pokemon XD Gale of Darkness, and especially noticeable with Pokemon Stadium series. Well, as a result of that kind of stuff though, because of the rental Pokemon system, or the rental pass, and on top of that with online functionality, which you can no longer able to actually access to anymore, because of, you know, Nintendo Wi-Fi connection is dead. And on top of all that stuff though, about the fact that, well, I think Sonic did actually told me something, that he used to remember playing Pokemon Battle Revolution on the Nintendo Wii, but looking back in it today, it might be seems a bit more, well, unplayable now, just because of all that, the lack of online features. Well, you can still play the game, but it's just about the fact that he doesn't seem to remember the game as much, compared to the forms of certain spin-off titles like, you know, Pokemon Snap and all that stuff though, but that's probably just his entirely opinion related, so I guess that pretty much stopped up as such. So, anywho, so another thing I should probably explain about this as well, I guess, is that, well, I'm happy to report, even though despite the fact that I'm still going back into Mario Kart Tour again, which, again, that basically summed up as why, that that game is not going to give up anytime soon, especially because of how the fact that, well, this is a perfect example of why. It's been like, almost a month ago since I actually last played the original, well, let's just say, not only the original version of Mario Kart 8 on the Wii U, despite I still can't play online play in the Wii U version of the game just because of all that cyber attack has been going on. And on top of that, the forms of the Switch version as well, because I'm still begging and waiting for the actual information about the forms of Wave 5. But I get it, it's going to be releasing at some point in the summer, so expect time will tell. But good news though is about the fact that at least I can able to actually just to keep on playing not only by the likes of the forms of The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom once that's going to be out, and I think, relatively speaking, we've only got about 1 month left until the game finally comes out for the Nintendo Switch as an exclusive. So because of this though, yeah, super hyped about this, especially concerning about the fact there's a good thing I did somehow manage to complete it, the actual main story in Breath of the Wild. Mind you, I haven't exactly done most of anything else for this point, like DLC as well as the forms of some side quests, but either way though, I will be back for that eventually, so don't worry. So either way, because sometimes it just takes a bit of time to able to get used to with how the main mechanics work, and on top of all that stuff though, I don't know if I can able to actually replay the game again, just because of all that, a lot of hardest challenges I actually just went through regardless, because usually, relatively speaking, unlike something related to, you know, Super Mario Odyssey, I simply managed able to replay the game time and time again because of all that separate save files, and in addition to that though, I found it's a little bit easier to get digest with that stuff, because, well, don't get me wrong, I still really enjoy Breath of the Wild still, but it's just about the fact that I highly doubt, I don't know if I can able to do the second playthrough on my own time, especially with the forms of not only for, I would say hero mode, but also with the forms of the Master Mode as well, as part of the DLC in mind. So, either way, because chances are, though, I'm not exactly up for the challenge, you know? And also keep that in mind, ignore that particular third stomp, because otherwise, if you accidentally activate that, then there's no way you can get that energy sphere, so keep this in mind. But anyway, though, so, and I suppose I should probably also mention is that, well, again, in regards to the forms of Mario Kart Tour, despite the fact that I'm still going back into that kind of stuff, well, as a result, we're now onto the halfway point in terms of the Yoshi Tour, and also, the good news about this is, though, I finally managed to get myself a new driver, which appears to be Poochie himself, which is a good thing, because I almost assumed I was going to be worried about that at first, about the fact that he's going to be locked out behind the stupid tier system. Well, unfortunately, though, I didn't seem able to get myself the light blue color Yoshi somehow, which just kind of sucks in my part, just because, well, I'm guessing because of how the fact that players we're actually going to get a little bit more aggressive at this point with all that tier system in mind. But regardless of such though, the good thing about this though, is that whenever I was trying to able to spend on certain event coins onto the forms of the golden pipe, somehow out of nowhere, I somehow got myself another alternative driver. Well, to be more specifically, a cosmetic character, which appears to be out of nowhere. I've got myself Daisy's swimwear outfit, which is actually pretty cool, I'm not gonna lie. Especially concerning about the fact I somehow managed to get this for the likes of the golden pipe by spending event tokens, which I appreciate about that. Especially because concerning about the fact that I was doing quite well for the sake of the forms of the Yoshi Tour, certainly a lot better than the forms of the past tours, that's for sure. Especially concerning about the fact that, well, we still have no idea what next week's tours are going to be like, but I'm sure enough I'll grind a heck of a lot more rubies for the time being. So, although I was originally trying to able to get myself the Piranha Plant's Me Racing suit, but I think I'll just might as well give it a pass, so. Anywho though, so yeah, and also another thing it's worth noting for is that, well, I suppose I completely forgot to mention about is that, yeah, they somehow managed able to bring something new to the table in regards to the forms of Mario Kart Tour update. That's what appears to be extreme challenges. And one thing I didn't actually realize is that not only do you have to able to complete not only the tier challenges 3, but also you have to reach level 99 for its tier system. And I was like, Christ almighty, no. Ah, jeez. The challenges itself can get pretty ridiculous at times, and there is no way in heck that I'm not gonna be able to actually do that stuff. Especially because, despite I still have a lot of frustrations with that game, especially with how bad the controls are, and on top of that, with all that random luck-based elements with the item system in mind, and it's just ridiculous, I'm telling you. It's just way too ridiculous on my part, so. Anyways, here we go with the Sphere Doomer again, but now we have to deal with the forms of the moving platform, and it's a good thing I somehow managed to go through Paracel rather than the rock copy ability, because otherwise, if I accidentally manage to turn into a stone, it allows me to— Oh, dang it! I got crushed! Ah, I did not expect to see that coming. Ah, oh well. Oh well, but at least I just got kicked out of the portal right there. But at least I can able to try this again, I suppose. So, anywho. So I suppose I should probably also mention about this as well, is that, relatively speaking, about the fact of the matter is, though, that I almost assume that, they're gonna able to do, like, I don't know, it's been a very long while since I actually mentioned something related to Mario Kart Tour. Although, relatively speaking, though, speaking of Mario Kart, though, you already noticed about the fact that ever since 2 days ago, well, for those of you who lived in Japan, that basically that game has been out for 15 years now in Japan, and then yesterday that the UK version of Mario Kart Wii is also turning 15 years old recently, and I was found it a little bit strange is that the North American didn't get the game until the 27th of April in 2008, although usually unlike the Korean version didn't get the game until 2009. Seriously, what does all that time go with all that different release dates and all that stuff though? I'm guessing it's probably because the reason why the North American version gets it a bit later than the likes of how it does it in the Japanese and the European countries is that because of the localization translations or somewhat. Like, For instance, you already know the UK version of that particular course called DK Snowball Cross, whilst in the forms of in a North American version, they simply call it DK Summons. So I guess that probably explains it, which for whatever reason in Mario Kart Tour's case, they pretty much stuck with the forms of the North America's localization when it comes to like, pronouncing certain tracks and all that stuff though, which, either way though, it's kinda hard to think about it right now, so either way. There goes stage 2, and now we've actually unlocked the next game, which appears to be Bomb Rally. I wonder what that particular sub-game might be, felt a bit familiar. But regardless of anything else though, we should probably hit on to the next level anyway, so either way. And I suppose I should probably also mention about this as well, I guess, is that, I've already noticed about the, right from the get-go though, is about the fact, you guys already know about the fact that I'm pretty much done with Disney for right now. But that's just because about the fact that with all that, you know, the stupid decisions, with all that, tons of sequels from out of the blue, or, potentially speaking though, with this very dumb live-action movie adaptations, and because of this though, yeah, I can totally see why about the fact that Disney is having a bit of struggle recently. Especially, recently, that Super Mario Bros. Movie, you know, with the new released film, as you probably already expect, well, that film turned out to be a huge success when it comes to the box office right now. Like, I can assure you about the fact that, well, it did say $377 million as of right now. Mind you, it might be a bit outdated when it comes to likely mentioning that stuff, but I'm pretty sure they were able to increase more dollars and all that stuff though during a later time. Which is actually a good thing, because concerning about the fact that, well, I'm very still glad that that film turned out to be a really great success, especially after the events of that, you know what I mean, a horrible bombed box office with all that live-action adaptation of Super Mario Bros. Movie, but, you know, they already know what to do. They're probably not going to do the live-action movies for the time being, because, relatively speaking, the animated counterparts is actually more superior, so... Well, despite there are some questionable choices here and there, like, some people complain about the forms of the pacing of the film. Mind you, I'm probably not gonna still mention more about the forms of the spoilers, because, you know, spoilers can be a bad thing for the actual, like, leaks and rumors and all that stuff, though, which, either way, though, that might be saying something, so... Oh, and also during the forms of next week, actually, I think I'm also able to mention about the forms of the 10th anniversary of the forms of the Nintendo Direct, based off on the forms of the 17th of April in 2013, but I think I'm also able to best mentioning more about it, until when it gets to the point until next Monday, because relatively speaking, you know, about the fact that I'm pretty sure that we've almost there to the halfway point in terms of April for this year, until whenever we move on to the next month, which appears to be May. So either way though, seriously, time flies, you know, especially concerning about the fact that I'm pretty sure that we've almost... Oh wow, that was really close. Especially that the good thing that with the block in mind, thankfully I didn't get munched by these guys. So either way, yeah, as I was saying, about the fact the matter is, though, that, it seems like we've almost at a point about the fact that we've almost at this, the second half of, 2023 so far. So, either way, though, that might be, oh god. Ah, jeez. Okay, whatever. At least we'll take the invincibility frames, I guess. So... just to ensure that we will be able to just be very cautious with certain things, so either way, let's just go ahead and get ourselves the high jump ability, which has been a very long while since we actually seen this copy ability since in World 2, because one of those energy spheres comes into play. So speaking of which though, I think there's an energy sphere somewhere in this section right here that we have to utilize 2 switches to activate it, and quickly just use the high jump, and that way you can get yourselves, what else? Another energy sphere. So, how's that for that? Anyway though, yeah, recently about the fact the matter is though, I've recently managed able to pre-order, not only Sonic Origins Plus, from the likes of the forms of the PS4, Xbox One, and Nintendo Switch version physically, because I was originally gonna, trying to able to get myself the digital version of, the actual compilation of the game itself, but it's just about the fact that unfortunately though, I have tried able to search it from online stores, like PSN, Microsoft Store, and even Nintendo eShop, but for some reason they never seemed able to list the forms of the expansion pack yet. Which, I don't know about you, but I'm pretty sure about the fact that sometimes I was being impatient, just like Sonic does. So, anyway, and also at the same time, I managed to able to pre-order Puss in Boots: The Last Wish on DVD because, you know, I absolutely adored that film so much, especially concerning about the fact that unlike Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, I just found it a bit underwhelming because unlike in the other two films in the past, it was actually really dang good back in the day. But every once in a while though, they now start able to wear off when it comes to like creativity or something like this. So anyway, so we actually got ourselves the wing Kirby ability right here, and basically this allows you to able to like flap those wings and all that stuff to fly on. And on top of that, you can also decide to do like aerial dives to able to actually deal with certain things and what have you. So anyway, so now we actually got ourselves the Mecha Challenge. So yeah, relatively speaking though, about the fact that there's only 2 brand new challenge stages that is exclusive to this remake, and that's what appears to be, of course, not only by the Forms of the Sand challenge, but also the Mecha Transformation, well, I, for some reason, just died right there. Hey, I think I mistimed my jumps when it comes to likely trying to get that enemy, but oh well, no big deal, because we got so many extra lives, so alright, so let's not mess this up, because, well, relatively speaking, I just need to able to just continue things on for this point, so yeah, I suppose as far as I can say, I think that's as far as I can talk about. Well, aside from the fact that I was literally so close to the point that we've almost had 700 subscribers, but again, that our subscriber count keeps dropping sometimes on a rare occasion, because there was that one point, I was on 673 the other day, but then it just out of nowhere cuts down to like 671, so yeah, it seems kind of feels a bit random at points, but at least I'm trying, folks. At least I did manage to try. So either way though, let's just go ahead and continue proceeding for this point right here. And since we've got ourselves one of those energy spheres from the very beginning of the level, you know, thanks to the forms of that particular shoe contraption that we can able to use, to able to actually just hop into one of those girders to the other. So either way, let's just go ahead and just skip along at one point and climb on the ladder as we go. And there's another energy sphere just right down there, and something tells me we will come across into the Grand Hammer super ability until later on. So anyway, so, and also I should probably also mention about this as well, is that recently Capking 74, he's now got caught up to the forms of the progressioning for its story, and on top of all that stuff though, he did somehow manage to went into all the way up to floor 50, if I recall, during the forms within the Pit of 100 Trials in the Paper Mario The Thousand Year Door. And then it turns out because the reason why he did this is because of the forms of that particular strange sack item that he somehow got, which basically means this allows you to able to now carry up to 20 items, which I think that was actually a really good you know, upgrade to have, or to be more specifically, a great item to have, especially if you find these battles to be kind of tough. Well, luckily for you, you can able to actually just get that strange sack. So either way, time to take on the super bonkers right here, where as we've already attempted to do that, and sure enough, Grand Hammer as it is. So either way, so of course we need to be able to go all the way to the top of the tower before you're able to proceed for this point. So either way, let's just go ahead and keep rotating the control stick and stuff like that, or the analog stick or somewhat. I have no idea. I keep getting confused by the forms of how the fact that with you know, between the game, you know, the control stick or the analog stick, because I keep thinking about the GameCube controller and the PlayStation 2 controller. But I do know for Xbox though, they call it like thumbstick. So yeah, I can totally see for that resemblance. So anyways, let's destroy that, and sure enough, we're able to go slightly downwards, and I think we have to do this for the third and final time to, you know, trying to able to actually access to the bell itself, which obviously if you do manage to able to, oh wait, we need to able to activate this lock first, so maybe one more time. And also straight to the point about the fact that we somehow managed able to got some very good news to discuss, especially concerning about the fact that, well, before I get into more details onto this though, that while looking back on Mario Kart Wii, that usually, relatively speaking, well, for those of you who lived in the European countries, including Australian countries as well, I think that, relatively speaking, it wasn't until in 2013 exists, where basically they somehow managed able to got the game on Nintendo Select's lineup, which I honestly have no idea that the North America and the Japanese version never seemed able to get the Nintendo Select's version of, you know, Mario Kart Wii, which the only countries they listed on is, of course, the European countries and Australian, and especially noticeable with, well, Korean versions. So, honestly, I have no idea why they've never actually just did the North American version of that edition, so. But I digress. And, also, another thing I would like to say is that, as I mentioned this before, for those of you who are able to become a huge fan of Bomberman, well, I'm happy to report about the fact that, well, I believe, suffice to say, they somehow confirmed the release date for the game, like multi-platforms included, like not only on the Nintendo Switch, but also on the PlayStation family of consoles, or heck, even especially noticeable with, oh no! God dang it, I was being so hasty. Thanks a lot, you, what was your name? I blame, Elden Bird, I think is what it says anyway. Well, I haven't exactly looked upon, that much, enemy variety when it comes to Kirby games as much compared to, like, you know, Mario and Sonic and all that stuff. I'm not only why I say Mario, weirdly enough today. Well, I was able to try to explain things clearly for this point today, but it's just about the fact that I was being, like, kind of exhausted today. Well, nowhere near as, like, extremely exhausted as compared to the forms of how it does it on Monday. But either way, though, at least I did explain something, so. Anywho, so yeah, in terms of the forms of the upcoming game called Super Bomberman R2, that's going to be confirmed, well, at least according to the forms of the Japanese eShop listing. That game is supposed to be going to be releasing at some point in September this year, specifically September 14th, 2023. Because, well, yeah, relatively speaking, that's what I can usually try to say about this for the most part. Because, you know, everyone else has been very, very hyped about the forms of, you know, Super Bomberman R2 after the events of what the original game did came out as a launch title for the Nintendo Switch. At least I'm assuming so anyway. Alongside with, of course, The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, and you name the rest of that stuff. So, either way. And also, one thing I should probably also mention about this as well, is that out of nowhere, whenever I managed able to search on something on Disney Plus recently, well, for those of you who lived in the UK, out of nowhere, Chicken Run is apparently listed on Disney Plus on the UK version, which I've honestly have no idea why they've been listing this, despite the fact that that was originally a DreamWorks movie, so yeah, it's a bit of a strange coincidence anyway. Well, mind you about the fact that since I'm in UK right now, that actually represents about the fact that they somehow labeled as in a different, company, or a different film label company or something like that. Like, for instance, in the North American version, it's usually counts as a DreamWorks movie, which is understandably so. Which, obviously, because that film came out after The Road to El Dorado, and possibly before Joseph King of Dreams as one of those direct-to-DVD movies or something. Well, at least financially or something like that. And, unlike the UK version of Chicken Run, obviously it's been made from the likes of Pathé Pictures, or British Pictures or somewhat, and they obviously shown us the forms of the Armin logo. And I think, relatively speaking, the reason why that's been listed on Disney Plus right now on the UK version is because, well, since I've still got myself the DVD version of the film, basically, I did spotted the actual 20th Century Fox logo, which I think that could be something to do with it. So, either way, though, I think that's what I was going to be thinking about anyway, so. So right off the bat though, as you can tell in level 5, don't go into that door. Instead you have to go onto the above door, because obviously it takes us to a secret way. And on top of that, you will be able to actually get the energy spheres, because trust me, you do definitely need to get onto the upper room, because otherwise, I believe if you go into the normal attempted method, I believe you don't get anything for energy spheres. So at least I'm assuming so anyway. So anyways, let's go ahead and take down those bosses again, except the fact that this time we got able to just, well, take them down as to be expected. So, and also I just realized about the fact I'm pretty sure the background music theme in the background is actually a lot different this time compared to the original version, if I'm assuming so. Because, well, again, it's been a very long while since I actually mentioned something like this. So either way, let's go and get our energy sphere, number 1, in this level anyway. So anyway, I should also mention about this as well, I guess, is about the fact that, well, I think relatively speaking though, about the fact of the matter is though, that honestly, I think that's as far as I can say about the forms of today's discussion. Although, again, I was expecting about the fact that, oh yeah, let's talk about the forms of, you know, in Mario Kart Tour, that I finally managed to get myself Poochie as a brand new driver. And it did turn out about the fact that he does have a special item, which appears to be Lucky 7. So, I'm almost assuming it's going to be more accurately like, I don't know, Yoshi's Egg or something. But of course, that Yoshi's Egg is only exclusive to Yoshi with the Egg cosmetic character. Oh gosh, we have ourselves this mini boss fight. I will say, out of all the actual mini bosses in this game, I think this UFO fella right here called Double is actually one of my least favorite boss encounters in the game, but that's only mainly because he felt it a bit unpredictable to me, or should I say I found him to be pretty unpredictable to deal with at first, but then as soon as you realize about the fact that sometimes he just feels a bit too fast for my liking, especially because, well, it doesn't even help that my damage output isn't exactly too high for my beam's case anyway, but hopefully if I was gonna able to... Oh, seriously? Come on, die. Oh, screw it. It's gonna have to do it the hard way by spitting stuff back at him. Oh, jeez, okay. Oh, jeez, I missed. Alright, come on, you. Come on, shoot at something. Okay, there we go. Jeez, that took a lot of effort right there. But at least we got the Spark copy ability, and because of that, since that we've got that ability, we can able to activate those 2 switches from one at the above and the other one at the bottom. So we can just do that until we get ourselves, what else? Another energy sphere. So either way, let's just go and continue things on here. So yeah, it seems kind of weird about the fact that, well, usually for Maxie's case, that he's tackling through both versions of Piglet's Big Game, which both played pretty much identically to each other, except with the forms of the presentation, because of the forms of the handheld's limitations, and on top of that, about the fact that he's only going to go through, like, 5 levels in the game, compared to the console version only has 7 levels, so... Now, I don't know if he was able to do Bravest of them all challenges on the Game Boy Advance version, because, well, mind you, it was actually his first time experiencing the Game Boy Advance version of Piglet's Big Game, compared to the forms of how it does it on the console version that he seems to remember playing the game a lot. Oh, wow, that was a double KO right there. I honestly appreciate about that specific spark charging technique. So, either way, I think Sword should be fine for me, because I can simply just able to get that energy sphere down there by simply cutting the rope and all that stuff. So either way, let's just go in and continue proceedings for this point. And also straight to the point about the fact that let's get this conversation over and done with while I was concentrating on this. Yeah, it seems that, out of nowhere about the fact that in the forms of Wikipedia, where it comes to whatever I looked upon, the list of Disney live-action movie adaptations or somewhat. Basically though, I am not happy about the fact that, well, Hercules is now up, and it did say to be announced or somewhat like that, and same applies with the forms of Moana, and out of nowhere, Meet the Robinsons is also being listed on Wikipedia right now, which... Oh boy, I know how that's gonna turn out, especially because I'm just still hoping that Hercules will not screw up. Especially, it still is one of my favorite movies back in the day in 1997. Like, I do remember so much of it, but oh, why did they go for that decision again? For all that terrible live-action adaptations, it's getting old fast. Anyway, enough about that massive rant again. But anyway, we got ourselves number 1 anyway, so that should able to give us some more star points and stuff of that nature. Yeah, it seems like we're doing really well so far. Well, despite I did come across into quite a few deaths so far in World 5 because I just got crushed, so... Alright, so it's time to take on the next boss in Kirby's Return to Dreamland in the actual main story mode. And that's... you might be familiar with it, especially, again, if you ever played the original version of the game before, you know exactly what this is going to be involved. So, either way, time to climb onto the ladders as we go, and I think I might as well keep my hammer copy ability from now on, because I was originally trying to able to go ahead and go after the tornado ability, but maybe in another time, because of the forms of power fact that I can assure you this game will still have not only the arena, but also the true arena as well. But it might feel a bit slightly different than the likes of how it does in the original version. But then again, let's not get of ourselves. So either way, time to make our way to the final part of the Lore Star Cutter, and somehow we did it! Yeah, I figure I see this one coming. Especially because we're about to take on Grand Duma. So, because obviously he's been holding that for its, well, potential purpose. So, either way, definitely a little bit more of a harder boss fight than the forms of Sphere Dumas, but at the very least though, with Hammer in mind, it deals quite an amount of damage, assuming of course if you manage able to do charged up Hammer attack right there, and then relatively speaking though, you can able to actually deal with so many good damage right here, so... But of course he's not done yet. Oh jeez, I did not expect his attack right there. Although I would able to also suggest doing the forms of down B attack if you wanted to defend yourself, but usually, relatively speaking, I keep thinking about the forms that have been Kirby Triple Deluxe with that technique. And if you think this battle is over, turns out he's not done, because obviously we do need to require a super ability, and mind you, I somehow get rid of the hammer. So, either way, time to able to take on 4 hit points for Grand Duma, and obviously we do need the the Ultra Sword right here, so that way... Oh, I somehow skipped it by accident, so, whoops. Oh yeah, that's another thing too, you can now able to actually skip the super ability transformations now, so yeah, I guess that's, fine for me, especially concerning about the fact that you might as well able to just, well, I don't know about you, it has been 2 days since I've, played this, so... Alright, time to do with this little swipe. And now we come to the last hit point. Well, technically 2 hit points left, because as soon as we're able to do this, well, he's still not done yet, because he's only got a little amount of health left, and time to finish him off, like so. With this ginormous pirate sword of any sort, or any other like sword for that matter. And there we go, Nutty Noon is completed, so... Nice. So now we can able to get this for reals, and that does it. Whew, that was a bit, quite aggressive at points, but at least I did this without any issues at all, so... And now we're gonna meet back in the forms of Lore Star Cutter to, hopefully, trying to fix the actual ship itself. And yeah, that's as far as I can say about this for the most part. So the lore star cutter is restored, and now we can able to hop into another dimension. So in some cases though, yeah, similar to the forms of how it does in the original version, then obviously we might as well come across into not one, but 2 upcoming levels. Well, to be more specifically, I think we'll hit on to the next world anyway. So either way though, let's launch up the actual lore star cutter, and let's see how this goes though, hey? Especially concerning about the fact that we can able to potentially see what's gonna happen if we go into another dimensional somewhat. So, yeah. And straight to the point, we got crash landed into that particular other dimension, and something tells me we've got attacked by the forms of that particular dragon, which appears to be known as Landora. So yeah, as far as what Megalore has said earlier. So yeah, we do need to stop him somehow, because I could assure you that he does have a crown on him, so he could be mind controlled with it. So yeah, we'll have to stop them in the process during the forms within the 7th world, called Dangerous Dinner, for those of you who probably already know if you played the original version of the game already. So anyway, so with that being said though, I think we should probably end things off at this point right here. So join me next time for more of Let's Play of Kirby's Return to Dreamland Deluxe. It's that... oh, I did not notice there's an icon there. So anyways, we're going to be heading on to Egg Engines. So yeah, basically it's like a metallical world. So I'll see you guys until on Friday. Later, fellas.